Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk, sitting down as always with TJ O'Connor and special guest of the evening, Sam Lanzrath, getting ready for a fight going down June 8th for North Star Combat in Walker, Minnesota.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
I remember. I actually remember the city. Walker, Minnesota, North Star Combat. How are you feeling today?
Good. I actually had most of the weekend off work this weekend, so I've just been hanging out. Did Memorial Day Murph yesterday with my CrossFit team, so that was an awesome way to spend the morning, and then just relaxing today before I go to work tonight. So it's been a good, easy weekend off.
Okay, that's good. You don't have to work later on this week at all, do you? You do have the rest of the week off, hopefully.
I work Tuesday, and then I'll be back next weekend. So I work shift work. I'm a full-time paramedic, so I end up on night shift working shift work a lot. So
I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yep.
How do your coworkers feel that you are a fighter and EMT?
It's so funny, like because I was a paramedic before I got into fighting.
Yeah.
So like I was working as a paramedic when I got into fighting. And it's kind of like a mixed bag. I work with like 100 different paramedics. And like half of them are like, you're gonna get so much brain damage. Like, what about what about your face? Like, you're gonna get maimed. And then the other half are like, it's so cool. They love it. They think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, I work with nurses and doctors and, whatever, and they kind of think the same thing. But actually, a nurse that I worked with, Shannon Nelson, is who got me into MMA. So the Minnesota fans might remember her fighting a couple years back. So
okay. Yeah. So like one of the things that I think about like in fighting is like when people criticize other people for wanting to fight, one, go fuck yourself, and then two and then two, you being an EMT, I mean, you have some knowledge about the damage that can be done, so you might have a better understanding on how to avoid that damage or to notice when it's coming on,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah, I really respect that. And I don't know, like I don't respect people's opinions who tell people not to do something because they don't like it. Like, screw you. No.
Well, and it's so funny. Like, I think part of the thing too is when I started working I've been at the company that I've been at for 5 years. So I've been there since I was 18 years old, or 19, I guess. I was 19 when I started there.
Okay,
and
wow.
So I think like, I mean, I'm pretty little. I'm like 5'4", walk around at like 128 pounds. And I was like 19 when I started. So I think they just think of me as like this little girl, and they just can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like you're going to go in there. And it's like, they don't understand. Like, I fight other girls that are my size. Like,
Yeah,
it's like I'm fighting Cyborg in there. Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, true. So you walk around at 128 pounds. What weight is the fight taking place at?
So this one is at 130.
Okay, so no weight cut.
I was no weight cut. I was injured earlier this year. So just with being off and kind of changing my routine, I put on a little bit of weight. I put on about 5 pounds of muscle mass, which is obviously good. Along with some extra winter padding to go with it. So I was a little heavier anyway, and we kind of got this on shorter notice. I don't want to say short notice, but about 5 weeks out, we got word that this was an option. And at that time, 115 was just not realistic for me, safely anyway. And like you said, I understand the risks, not just with like the trauma, but also with weight cutting. And so, my coach, Brock Larson, is the best in the business. And, he kind of was like, let's maybe do a heavier weight. And that was where we found a fight. And so we kind of took it shorter notice, and no weight cut is cool with me. I'm eating clean, I'm eating healthy, but, not having to eat gerbil food is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And like you said, Brock Larson, one of the best coaches in the state. He knows what's best for all of his fighters. And 5 weeks out, it's still a fair amount of time to get ready for the fight. So looking forward to the fight here. it's been a while since you've competed. I think your last fight was back in September.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're looking at about 8 months in. You mentioned you were dealing with a little bit of injury there. How do you feel coming up to this fight? How do you feel as far as the camp itself? I mean, you're at one of the better gyms in the state, so it's not like you're getting good work in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I came off my last fight, and to say I was pissed off is like an understatement. So I fought in November of 2017, and lost a decision, which I had never done anything athletic competitive before MMA. So I didn't do sports in high school. I did gymnastics when I was in like 7th grade, and I sucked at it. So I had never done anything like athletic before this. So really, when I went in and did my first fight, we were like, well, if you go in and you suck, then we know that you don't fight. So to go the full 3 rounds in my first fight was just a victory in and of itself. And then I took a year off, did some learning, and then that last fight, I just up here it wasn't there. And so really after that fight, I was pissed, and I wanted to work my ass off and work to be better, and not just be better, physically, but be better mentally and be tougher and grittier. And, I train with some of the baddest guys in the state, in the country, and so like, I really try and channel, that energy every day when I'm in the gym. And so I was working my ass off. I was training, from basically September on. And then I got hurt in February. It was actually February 1st. So it took a couple months off. And I kind of came back, and I think that injury maybe put a little more fire under my ass, because then I was really pissed, because then I was on this really upward climb, and then to get benched for 2 months is like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So, I was really kind of ready to come back, and trying to find, being hurt, I kind of was forced to find a little bit of balance in my life too. When that big component is taken away from you, you really have to figure out like where your priorities are, right? So I kind of, was trying to find just a little bit of balance, and then we got this opportunity, and I said to Brock, he's like, well, are you ready? Because you just came off an injury, and I was like, I was like, we were on an upward climb. We can't let that stop us. Like, put me in, coach. And so, he kind of agreed to that. It took a little bit of convincing, but, I'm a firm believer that if Brock really didn't think that I could do it, he wouldn't put me in there.
If he made it harder for you, he probably was trying to see how hard you or how bad you actually wanted it. Some coaches do that. I'm not saying he did that for sure, but
no, he actually said that. He goes, I texted him and I said, are we good for that fight? And then he said, we'll talk Monday. And of course I go into the gym. I was like, are we in for that fight? And he was like, I wanted to see the look in your eyes. So
my
no,
God.
he definitely, that was definitely his thought. But
I really like to hear your mindset. You mentioned how your last fight went, and it didn't go your way, but you figured out and you were able to learn from it. And then off that injury, that fire that was lit, coming up on June 8th here, you're fighting Caitlin Wiesel, I believe her name's pronounced. It's her first fight.
Yep.
What do you know about her, if anything, and what are you looking to do on June 8th? Without giving away a game plan, obviously, but what do you have to do to get your hand raised on June 8th?
There's not really a game plan to give away, because the game plan is to go in and be me and do what I do. I think that my first 2 fights, I really put a lot of stock in. You need to win. You need to win. You need to do this. If this happens, go here. I've never fought somebody that hasn't fought before. So I'm excited to be that person that's already been in there. I've been in there twice. I've been through a full 3-round fight before, which I think is, as an amateur, is a valuable experience, especially as an amateur female. I think that that's a really valuable experience. And then I've been on the other end where I got my ass choked out in the first 2 minutes. I know I've been on both sides of that. So now I'm ready to be on the other side and to get my hand raised. I don't know anything about Caitlin. I know a couple people that have trained with her. To be honest, I really haven't asked them much about her. I don't care. I'm gonna go in and do me and be me, and I'm gonna go in and fight the way that I want to fight. I'm gonna fight the way that I'm trained. You know, like I said, I train with the best guys in the state. Like I'm sparring with Tyler Matheson every week and Angel Pacheco, and you know, I train with Bobby Lee and Joey Hart, and like some of the best ring guys in the state. And I mean, I have Brock Larson in my corner. I'm gonna go in there and do me, and I'm not gonna worry about what her game plan is. I'm not gonna worry about what she's gonna do, because I'm just gonna do me.
Oh yeah, I love to hear it. Is there any sponsors you'd like to shout out before we wrap it up?
Yeah, Integration Fitness has been really, really awesome. So about December, I made a change in my strength and conditioning camp. So I switched over to the Integration Fitness team, and they have been awesome. They basically do everything but give me keys to the place. They let me in whenever I need to, you know, so I can go in there and work around my training schedule. At Brock's, I'm training 2 to 3 hours a day, depending on the day. And then I mix my strength and conditioning in there. They let me go in whenever I need to, use whatever equipment I need to. And they're just awesome there. I think they're planning on bringing a whole crew up for the fight. So that'd
nice.
be awesome. And then Impact Mouth Guards is also one of my sponsors. They get me a new mouth guard for every fight. So they've been awesome too.
Oh yeah, I love to hear it, and I can't wait to see what you do June 8th. This is going to be great. I can't wait to see the strength and conditioning improvements, the improvements you've made with your mindset, and the guys that you've been working with. You listed off the best of the best in Minnesota as your main training partners, and I'm super excited for this fight June 8th.
Thank you. I'm excited too. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for being on Trash Talk.
Yes, thank you.
And best of luck on June 8th.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.